Okay, Namaste, I'm Officer. Today we discuss law, science and technology. In this topic, we discuss about law and science and technology. What type of relations between law and science and technology? What type of correlations may exist between law and science and technology? And another, what is cloning? It is the raging issues in this modern world. Ethical controversy of cloning, international law on cloning, DNA research, insemination, plant grafting, and organ transplantation. In this topic, we study more detailedly. So let's start by slide. Law, science and technology. Law plays an essential part in the regulation of science and technology and concerns the ethical consequences of scientific research along with the modern technologies. So here, laws plays always important role. Science and technology development, science and technology investment, scientific investment, and law try to maintain ethical issues or discipline in scientific research and scientific development. Clear? This field of law, science and technology attempts to study systematically the diverse way in which law interacts with the science and technology. So, science and technology in this field, law try to find out, try to study the different techniques of science and technology, and in this way, law and science more connected. It has been defined as the discipline, that means subject, discipline that deals with how our legal system can and must adjust, accommodate the problems created by the ever more urgent and oblivious impact of technology on society. So, very clearly, technology creates so many advanced technique, methods, development, inventions. So, sometimes it also create some problems. So our legal system more focus on how to solve this problem, how to challenge this problem, or how to deal the problems created by science and technology. So law try to always maintain or dissolve or dissolute the legal or other kind of problems created by the science and technology. So, relationship between law and science and technology, look at here. Law and science have a complicated relationship. Very complicated means they are not easy to understand. They are very complicated. They are always interrelated. So, science, what is science then? Science is the systematic approach that builds and organizes knowledge in form of testable explanation and predictable about the universe. So in the science, we can test everything, observe everything. So laboratory testing is possible in science, and same principle or theories applied to predict about the thing. Law, another way, look at law. Law, on the other hand, refers to the systems of rules. What is the law? Law means system of rules, body of rules, which have been laid down by the social institutions to regulate the actions of members, and it may enforce such behavior by imposition penalties. So what is law? Body of rules, numbers of rules, developed by the social institution, political institution, legislations, and law enforce its regulation, its rules by imposing or giving penalties, punishment. So area and sector or meaning, law and science different. It is clearly different. Okay. So, however, with the growth of scientific and technological advances, law and science, the two disciplines become interdependent on each other. Look at here. Scientific more advancement, scientific development, scientific invention finally depend upon the laws. And law also depend upon the science. Why? The legislature of various nations has laid down numerous laws. Numerous law means so many laws to manage the impact of science and technology on society. So science and technology, it is going advanced day to day, year to year, but its impact on society is most dangerous. Unpredictable impact may fall on the society, fall on the life of individual life. Suppose we are in modern age, without mobile we can't survive. So such type of dependency created by the science and technology. Clear? So that's why law and science and technology very interconnected, very closely related. Okay. For example, look at here, legal issues. For example, in the era of internet, that means today, the legislature has laid down laws and provisions which deal with cyber crimes. In the era of internet, that means in the 21st century, that means today's age, without cybercrime, without dealing the cyber crimes, we cannot survive very safely, securely. So, law seeks to curb the impacts of science and technology with revolve around the aspects such as risks, benefit, and ethical implications. So, law focus on the benefits, risks, ethical implications of the science. So, they are very closely interrelated, very closely interconnected, right? So, interaction between the legal principles and procedures and scientific research and development. Interaction, what type of interaction, what type of bridge, what type of bonding? Look at here. The judicial system, our judiciary system, the judicial system also seeks means sorts to provide remedies to the aggrieved victim party that has been wronged due to harmful implication of the scientific and technological development. So scientific and technological development sometimes create harmful impact, harmful results, harmful output. But our judicial system try to resolve, try to give justice to the victim party by creating science and development, scientific inventions. So judiciary, main goal of the judiciary is to provide justice, to provide a remedy, restitution, reparation to the victim. So science and technology sometimes create a problem, sometimes make the victims. If the science and technology make the victims, then judiciary try to remedy such victims, try to re-establish, try to remunerate such victims. So focus on judiciary is quite different. Science, on the flip side, has aided the legal system with modern technologies such as polygraphy test. So it is the product of science, polygraphy test. If someone is speaking right or wrong, someone is lying or telling truth, that is test done by the polygraphy test. So it is the product of science and technology. Collection of evidences in scientific manner. So collection of evidences, physical evidences, hair, blood samples, physical, medical evidences. So it is the outcome, or it is the results, or it is the outcome of the science or fruits of the science. So electronic recording, today's age of the recording is, everybody has a mobile, everybody has a capacity to make video, audio recording. So it is the product of science. So being the modern advance in science and technology, these are evidence. And finally, our judicial system take these are undisputable evidence in the court. So court procedure accept such kind of physical evidence, such kind of scientific product of scientific inventions, right? Okay. So science also helps in the court proceedings. Very easy. Science helps court procedure or proceedings with the admission of evidence, autopsy reports, murder case, postmortem reports helps the how human is murdered, how his or death person's homicide takes place. So autopsy finally gives certain opinion. It is reports as evidences. Therefore, science and law are co-dependent each other, despite being two different disciplines in the modern society with the advanced science and technology. Okay, this is math. And next topic, effects of science and technology on law. What type of effects fall upon the science and technology on the law? Science and technology have substantive as well as procedural effect on law. So law has a two part, one substantive part, another procedural part. On the both parts, scientific technology effects. On the substantive side, new scientific evidences and methodology can be changed the course of legal claims and their outcomes. So changes made by the new scientific evidences. Forensic science has opened new avenues in criminal law while creating myriad of legal, ethical and social issues. So forensic science is the one of the product of science and technology which totally help to the find out the criminal, to give the criminal justice, or to give the justice from the victim by the criminal and outcome due to the criminal crime. So it is the one of the important impact or effects of science and technology on law. Similarly, and on the procedural part of the law, it lays down how DNA samples should be collected, stored, how genetic information may be used, when are convicted criminals allowed to reopen their cases, how we collected physical evidence, how we collected blood vessels, how we collected the samples from field to laboratory or testing laboratory. These are the process. So science created such kind of process, and finally law accept such procedure as valid. So it is another effect of the science and technology on law, right? Next, in the early 21st century, digital evidence has improved. Look at here. Today's age is the digital age. So digital evidence has improved the quality and availability of trial evidence, which is raising concerns about the tampering and fabricating digital pieces of evidence. This lead to the massive changes in law. So digital evidence, undisputable evidence, being the undisputable evidence of digital evidence, some specific technique may sometimes 10% digital evidence, make the fake digital evidence. So this to stop tampering or fabricating or misusing or duplicating such digital evidence, legal procedure law compelled to make certain procedure, certain rules to run, to take evidence as a digital evidence, right? So this is also important effects of science and technology on law. What is cloning? This is the main central thing of our slide. Look at here. From female cell we remove nucleus, and from male cell we insert a nucleus from male, and from female nucleus out. Finally it becomes nucleus inserted, and finally clonal zygote. It becomes zygote, and clonal embryo develop, and finally develop the clonal baby. That means a human baby. Look at here. This is the asexual method. What is cloning? Asexual reproduction. Being the human sexually reproduced animal, human, but asexual reproduction procedure to make the human from the male cell to female cell is the process of cloning. Very easy. Look at it here. From everywhere cell may be collected, hair, muscles, everything, everywhere. So what is then cloning? Look at here. Cloning is a technique. What? Cloning is a technique. Look at here. Cloning is a technique scientists use to make exact genetic copies of living things. Scientists can make exact copies of living things. genes, cells, tissue, even whole animals can be cloned. So from from two men, one man and one woman, numbers of life may clone, may copied from their cell. So such type of technique is called cloning. Okay, some clones are already exist in nature, already exist. Single cell organism like bacteria, bacteria make exact copies of themselves each time they reproduce. Coronavirus. So coronavirus take also asexual procedure, that means cloning procedure. In humans, identical twins are similar to clones, sometimes born two twins, boy or girl. So why it becomes two persons in human embryonic stage? That is result of cloning, because in the human woman's zygote in the stomach, then two persons becomes copies. This is the also technique of cloning. These are natural cloning. They share almost exact same genes. Look at here, same genes, same behavior, same character, same DNA profile, right? Identical twins are created when fertilized egg splits into two. Look at here, splits into two. That means one sperm, one egg was fertilized, but in the time and situation they split into two, becomes, so such type of asexually they becomes two, but enter into only one sperm, finally as a develop fertilized egg two. That is why, so cloning, this is the also result of cloning, natural cloning. Okay, scientists also make clones by in lab, by research. Very clear, scientists can make human, so many copies of human, so many copies of cells. To clone gene, researchers take DNA from the living creature and insert into the carrier like bacteria or yeast. Every time that carrier reproduce, a new copy of gene is made. So scientists make so many people from the two men and women. In the 1997, veterinary researcher doctors Ian Wilmot and Keith Campbell of the Roslin Institute of Scotland shocked the world by announcing the birth of the first cloned mammal, Dolly the sheep. The sheep, that means sheep, is developed from the clone technique. With the introduction of Dolly, the international community has realized that the practice of human cloning will become real and possible. From this event, human cloning will become real and possible. So, to stop copy from the human cloning, it is necessary. That's why international community becomes alert, right? Then what is cloning? Look at here. Cloning, the process of generating genetically identical copy of cell or an organism. Look at here, genetically identical copy of cell or an organism or an animal. Cloning happens often in the nature. For example, when cell replicates itself asexually without any genetic alteration or recombination. So in biological research, biological definition, look at here. Okay, again. So in biological research, what is cloning? Cloning is broadly defined to mean the duplication of any kind of biological material for scientific study, such as a piece of DNA and individual cell. So making copies or duplication is cloning in biologically. For example, segments of DNA are replicated exponentially by the process known as polymerase chain reaction, PCR. Look at it, PCR is the cloning technique. So a technique that is used widely in biological research. So cloning is possible through the PCR technique. Yes, simple. The type of cloning that is the focus of much ethical controversy involves generation of clone embryos. It is the ethical, it is the legal issues particularly those of humans, which are genetically identical to the organisms from which they are derived. Subsequent use of these embryos for research, therapeutic, or reproductive purposes. Three purposes generally scientists try to make cloning. Other purposes also possible. So ethical contribution, then it is right to make cloning. Clone human is possible. It is good or bad. So human reproductive cloning remains universally condemned. Condemned means unclear, primarily for the psychological risks associated with the cloning. A clone embryo intended for implantation into the womb requires throughout molecular testing to fully determine whether an embryo is healthy, whether the clone process is complete. So this is ethical questions. Similarly, in addition, as demonstrated by the 100-time failed attempts to generate a clone McQuay in 2007, a viable pregnancy is not guaranteed because the risks associated with the reproductive cloning in humans introduce a very high likelihood of loss of life. The process is considered unethical. That's why cloning process is unethical in human. There are other philosophical issues that also have been issues are also appear. That's why making the producing the identical human, it is the cloning my biologist. So cloning is very unethical way. So international law, what type of international law? Look at here. International law can be improved selection of individuals processing desired traits. So surfaced cloning could be the use breed better humans, thus violating the principle of human dignity, freedom, equality. So international law claims that it is against humanity, dignity, and freedom and equality. So cloning is illegal according to international issues or international community. There are laws and international conventions that attempt to uphold certain ethical principles and regulations concerning on cloning. In 2005, the United Nations passed non-binding declaration on human cloning that calls upon the member state to adopt all measures necessary to prohibit all forms of human cloning in as much as they are incompatible with the human dignity and prohibit the human life. This does provide legal way for member countries to pursue therapeutic cloning. Only international community gives the permission only therapeutic cloning. Otherwise, human clone or cloning of human life, it is illegal. It is declared by the United Nations in 2005. So United Nations urged the member state to adopt all necessary to prohibit all forms of human cloning. Look at here. Adopt all measures necessary to prohibit human cloning. So cloning is illegal by the international community. In the United Kingdom, UK, if you see the UK's law, what type of them? Human Fertilization Embryology Authority issues a license for creating human embryonic stem cells through the nuclear transport. There is an authority. This license ensures that human embryos are cloned for the legitimate therapeutic and research purposes aimed at obtaining scientific knowledge and disease human development. So in UK, there is only therapeutic purpose and research purpose human cloning or cloning is possible, and the authority, license authority is there. So that authority gives the certain kind of permission. In United States, look at here, United States, federal government has not passed the law. So United States, there is a lacking the law on the cloning. Then importance of justification of human cloning technology. Why human cloning is necessary? Because helps fertilize couples. So childless couple, there is a very hard life. So cloning helps to fertilize couples, recreate a lost child or relative, exercise proactive liberty, have offspring free of genetic defects. So genetic defects is possible, some sexual production, sexual reproduction, but by clone, very fresh, very, very advanced people, human life is possible. So that's cloning is necessary. This is the advantage or props of the cloning. Provide medical cures. Yes. Take a step toward the immorality. So these are the advantages of the cloning. So critical controversies on cloning. What disadvantage of cloning? Disrespect of human dignity of the cloned child. Demolish familial relationship. Family means social relationship. Considered cloned child commodities. So human's life or human child, cloned child status becomes commodities. These are the critical views. Causes medical dangers. Sometimes create clone humans, create medical danger. Causes social danger, societal dangers, because same DNA, same gene, same type of character, same type of face, same type of personality. So how is it possible in the society? Numbers of people, thousands of people can be made through the two man and woman. So this is the another threat of cloning technology. So from the public eye, look at here, cloning technology, safety of the technology, uncertainty of science. Science is uncertain. It can make everything. Imperative of morality. So morality finally downs due to the cloning. Ethical concept, look at here, playing God as the creator. So we believe till today God is a creator. But cloning technique, what create? Human itself as a creator. So utilitarian objections, consequential objections, there is so many objections. Instrumental human rights, instrumentation of human person. So human person and instrument become same. We devaluate the humans. Disrespect of human lives, obviously. Experimental on human beings. So experiment on humans, it is not a good thing. So these are the defects or ethical controversy, or these are the issues of cloning on the morality. So continue. From the legal point, violation of human dignity, violation of human rights, self-worth clone, self-decision and individual equal. So explanation from the autonomous choices, thought evaluation of cloning. So commoditization of human organs. Through the cloning technique, human organs become the commodity. These are the threats, these are the controversy from the legal point. Illegitimacy of cloning process. It is not illegitimacy, wrongful use of cloning, disproportionate use of human embryo cells. These are the challenges or threats on present by cloning technique. So policy aspect, from look at the policy aspect, common God, maybe questions, social justice, scientific inquiry, legitimation, legislation, regulation, minimum standards, what maybe there are the challenges, regulatory framework. So these are challenges. Suppose public funding, private venture, patenting, these are the threats on the cloning. So from the another angle, look at proactive liberty, right to privacy, right to health. These are also threatened by the cloning. Okay. So this is the cloning technique. Very long video. So I'm trying to finish. DNA research. What is DNA research? It is only collection of the DNAs. DNA research is the journal which is publishing all papers of the highest. So DNA research is the searching on the DNAs from the different kind of people, collecting, sequencing or characterizing genomes or important genetic regions. So comprehensive analysis of functions of genes and familial genomes. This type of source is the DNA research. Techniques, equipment useful for the structural, functional, analyzing the genes and genes families. So computer algorithms, applications, maybe structural, functional analysis of genes, and these are the DNA research. So DNA research is some countries it is legal, some countries it is illegal. In Nepal, some authority gives the order to DNA research, otherwise not possible, right? Insemination. Look at here, insemination. So look at here, how insemination done. Step followed in artificial insemination using husband's sperm. So insemination is the artificial zygote process or artificial sexual process. So from husband collect the sperm, and among the sperm laboratory process, and some sperms collect in the syringe, and finally through the syringe sperms live on the female's organs. Then finally sperms goes to the egg and becomes the zygote. Fertilizations. Clear? So this process is insemination. So this is the things. Look at here. Introduction of semen into the reproductive trace of female, either through the sexual intercourse or through the use of an instrument such as syringe, is process known as artificial insemination. So insemination is the deliberate introduction of sperm into the female animal or plant for the purpose of impregnating or fertilizing the female for the reproduction. So for the production, the sperm is introduced into the uterus. The uterus means woman's stomach, uterus of mammal, or the oviduct of oviparous animal. In humans, insemination normally takes place as a result of sexual intercourse between male and female, when semen contains sperm is introduced by the male into the female's reproductive tract by the ejaculation. So male ejaculate the sperm into the uterus. But insemination can take place in the ways not involving sexual intercourse. Without sexual intercourse, the ejaculation of male's sperm into the uterus is possible. That process is insemination. So compared to the natural insemination, artificial insemination is more expensive and more invasive. Each form of insemination has legal, moral, and interpersonal implication. Whether insemination takes place naturally or artificial means, however, the pregnancy and the progress of it will be same. So insemination in law. Artificial insemination raises a number of legal concerns. Most state laws provide that a child born as a result of artificial insemination using the husband's sperm is presumed to be husband's legal child. So using husband's sperm on his wife is legal. So artificial zygote formation or artificial fertilization process is legal in law. Most of the states have presumption of laws which presume that child born to married woman is the child of her husband. Look at here. Child born to a married woman is the child of her husband, and designation of the husband as a father in the case of involving artificial insemination derives from those laws. So legally it is also accepted. When child born after artificial conception means fertilization, using the sperm of a third-party donor, the law is also less clear. So third-party donor is some countries practice, but in developing countries it is not practiced. Some state plays. So this is the process. In Nepal, if you see the Nepalese law, then section 109 of the Muluki Civil Code, so National Civil Code 2017, it is related to the insemination. In 109, paternity of the child born from artificial insemination to be father. A child born from the use with the consent of her husband and wife of artificial insemination system from the semen of the another person shall be considered to have been born from the married husband, and his or her paternity shall be determined accordingly. So third party sperm is also accepted in this Nepalese law. So this is the Nepalese law. Plant grafting, look at, cut the one plant and join to the another plant, and covered by the plastic or other things from the shape from the light and make the fruits. This is the plant grafting techniques. So graft in horticulture, the joining together of the plant parts by means of tissue regeneration. So grafting is the act of placing a portion of one plant So one plant or bud or sequence into on stem, root, branch of another stalk in such a way that union will be formed and the partners will continue to grow. That means new connected will continue to grow. The part of the combination that provides the root is called stalk and the adapted piece is called sequence. Look at here. So when the more or two parts are involved, the middle piece is called the interstalk. When the sequence consists single bud, the process is called budding. So grafting and budding are. So this is the plant grafting. Very clear. Okay. So in the modern horticulture, grafting is used to variety of purposes: to repair injured tree, to produce dwarf trees or shrubs, to strengthen plants resistant to certain disease, to retain variety characteristic, to adopt varieties at partial soil or climatic continuous, to ensure pollination, to produce multi-fruit or multi-flower plants. So from the one tree, we receive numbers of flowers through the plant grafting technique. Very simple. So what can be the transplanted organ? So organ transplanted means, from look at the picture, kidney can be transplanted, lungs can be, heart can be, so many things can be transplanted. Organ transplantation. So transplantation of human cells, tissues or organs saves many lives and restores essential function where no alternative is comparable effective exist. For example, blind people can give eyesight from donation of another. So blood also can be transferred. Lungs, kidney can be transferred. Heart can be transplanted. So this is the organ transplantation. This is the process of organ transplantation. In 50 years, transplantation has become the successful worldwide practice. Look at here, successful. However, there are large differences between the countries in access to suitable transplantation and in the level of safety, quality, efficacy, donation and transplantation of human cells, tissues and organs. The ethical aspects of transplantation are at the forefront. In the particular, the immediate patient need to the shortage and transplant lead to the temptation of trafficking in human body components of transplantation. So organ transplantation sometimes create a human trafficking problem also, because natural human content full organ human trafficker use some peoples as a commodities. In middle area of Nepal, most of the people donated one kidney. They sell their kidney because of poverty, and they sell their kidney in the form of money. So this is the another problem. So organ transplantation challenges the things. So human cells, tissues transfer from can save lives. It is another thing. So transplantation, why did it save life or restore essential function? For example, a corneal means eye. A corneal graft can restore sight in the corneal blindness. The transplantation of hematopoietic stem cells can cure congenital or acquired disease including leukemia. The transplantation of human heart valve often constitute best replacement situation in the recipient patient, so do not require long-term anticoagulation. So transplantation is a very good. This small, thank you giving this time watching this video. Okay, subscribe my channel, our channel. Okay, thank you.